could definitely hear the misfire a lot more clearly. This is why you don't rush things when it comes to cars, because then you'll turn a 2-week project into a 3-month project. So I had to get wheels for the Civic. I ended up getting them off Facebook Marketplace for $200. That's besides the point. That alone, I had to wait for the weekend, so there's 1 week already. And then I realized that they don't have tires, so I had to order some in. I decided to get 2 off Facebook Marketplace and 2 online. I had to wait a week and a half for the ones online and about a week for the one off Facebook Marketplace. So that was already another week and a half. We're at 2.5 weeks already. And I scheduled a appointment to get them mounted that weekend, so that's 3 weeks. Well, I didn't check the year on those tires, and by the time I got to that appointment, if you don't know, tire places will not mount your tires if they're over 10 years old. So despite those tires being in good condition, they're actually right here, they're in great condition, but they're over 10 years old, they will not mount them for you. Which means, instead of being able to just drive off right then, I had to order in 2 more, which means I had to wait another week and a half. We're already up to a month and about half a week. Yeah, already way longer than anticipated. So then at this point, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll have them mounted. I had them mounted. I was about to put them on the car that night. Then I realized that the lug holes are so small that I cannot get those lug nuts on. I'll show you really quick. They were these lug nuts, and they were too small for the lug holes. I was barely able to fit them in, especially with this little part that goes out, let alone with the tool. So I could not do that. I had to special order in some extended lug nuts from Blocks Racing, and unfortunately, they were going to take about a week and a half to 2 weeks to go in. Well, right in the middle of that time when they were supposed to arrive, I had a trip planned, which means I wasn't going to be there until the end of that week. So at this point, we're already almost into 2 months. So by the time I was able to actually put the tires and wheels on my car, it had already been nearly 2 months, and it should not have taken that long because I decided to cut corners that I shouldn't have, and yeah, I learned my lesson. I'll show you the rest of the footage of me putting it on right now. Alright, so the lug nuts arrived while I was on the way on a trip, and these are the old ones, just for example reference. Just got Blocks Racing because I don't need anything fancy. Just need it extended. This is what it looks like. It's black. This is what the difference is. So hopefully it's the same diameter. So hopefully it should be lengthy enough to fit on good. So yep, we're gonna actually mount these. Alright, so I thought that this was a 6-point when I got them. These are a 12-point, which means this don't work. But I found out that I have a 12.17, which works for it. So it does fit in there, and I got one of the hubs with the wheel on, and now I'm gonna move on to the other ones. Alright, so today I got the car jacked up because we're gonna be putting a different exhaust on it. The one that we have has exhaust leaks, and it's also cut off at the end, so we're gonna put that on. It's just an eBay exhaust. Well, this is stock still, so I have to start taking it apart, but this is just an eBay exhaust. It was like 110, 120 bucks or something. It doesn't look bad. I don't know how well it'll hold. It probably won't sound great, but since this is just a budget build, I don't care that much. Yeah, it's a titanium tip. I'll show that later, but for now, I had to clean up underneath it, and we're gonna start taking it apart. Alright, so there's a little bit to unpack here. So this car actually does not have the headers that it came with. I'll show you a little bit. They're custom, which means that the cat isn't what it came with. It came with this cat, which means that whoever mounted it used a random universal flange with 5/8 bolts. So luckily I had some standards on me. This also means that whatever the ending was supposed to be for this, he cut it off and he fit it to this resonator. So I have to figure this out now because I don't have a cat to use. I need to figure out how I'm supposed to connect the two because they're all supposed to be connected with the flange bolts or with the flange style connection. I do not have that, but the entire exhaust is down except for the headers and downpipe. And yeah, now we're gonna fit everything. Alright, so because the headers aren't the stock headers, which means the cat wasn't the stock cat, the previous owner did this, caused some issues. And now, as I'm lining everything up, it doesn't match, which means I need to probably get a pipe about this big and figure it out now. Alright, so this is the muffler. Obviously it's an eBay one. It's got like the nuts and all that, but yeah, it's not too bad. I'm gonna fit it up there while I try to figure out what to do with all of that. Alright, so as you can see, the exhaust is on and we took off the silencer. I'll show a better view under. And now I'll show you from the front and I'll explain what I did. We had it welded straight to the header, the downpipe, added a flex connector, the cat's right behind it. But yeah, cost wasn't too bad. Ended up costing me about $165 plus the material cost because I did know the welder that came and did it, so had a little bit of a discount. Unfortunately, as you can tell, it is super low to the ground already, as is. So yeah, it's stuck like this. I can't lower it anymore. I'll just have to go kit low, which means I have to get better side skirts, front lip, rear lip, all that. It's honestly not too bad. It's a lot quieter now, which I actually really like because I did not like how loud it was in the cabin as well as outside. It was just screaming because of all the exhaust leaks and all that. I'll insert a video from inside as well as set up my camera from outside so you can hear without the silencer on cold start. Definitely hear the misfire a lot more clearly, but all in all it's a lot more quiet, which I love. So next I'm going to be bleeding the clutch as well as cleaning out my crankcase filter. Alright, so clutch is bled enough. Most of this skunk you see is caked at the bottom, and obviously can't really tell, but it's a lot better than it was, so I'll take it. Alright, so directions were to spray this liberally on each side. Well, because I'm not using one of these flat filters, I sprayed it on both the outside and the inside. I pretty much have to just let it sit for about 10 minutes and then I gotta go hose it off, low pressure water, and then I got to oil it.